Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kathy Lantry, and I'm president of the St. Paul City Council. And on behalf of myself and my colleagues, I'd like to welcome you to the 2012 State of the City speech. And I would ask that you all please rise now as the St. Paul Fire Department Local 21 Color Guard and the St. Paul Police Color Guard present the colors. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. At this time, I'd like to ask Greg Heineman, who's the immediate past board chair of the James J. Hill Library Board, to say a few words about this incredible space. Mr. Heineman.
Thank you, Kathy. Mayor Coleman, members of the City Council, and all other elected officials, department heads, civic, business, and not-for-profit leaders. Welcome to the James J. Hill Library. My name is Greg Heineman. I'm the recent chairman of the board here at the Hill Library. And on behalf of my colleagues at the board, our entire staff, and everyone else affiliated with this beautiful facility, we are very, very pleased to host this important event and deeply appreciative of the opportunity to do so. We here at the Hill are celebrating 90 years of services to businesses, universities, and the current and budding entrepreneurs of our region. It is the legacy of our founder, Jim Hill, who as an inventive, game-changing entrepreneur, opened the entire Northwest Territory to transportation and to enterprise. It is that spirit that I know that you, Mayor Coleman, are passionate about, recapturing as you recast the future of St. Paul and this region. The Hill is much more than a business reference library, whatever that is, and we have to be by the very nature of where libraries are today. These spectacular surroundings provide an ideal venue for business, cultural, and celebratory events. We partner with our friends at the public library right next door to host a rock music series where patrons are actually motivated to get as loud as the music. We are hosting the new Real Phonic Radio Hour, which is a live music show in the spirit of Prairie Home Companion featuring roots music with fabulous musicians, both local and national. I understand, Mayor, that you were here on Friday, and again, thanks for being there. It means a lot to us. Classical musicians love our acoustics. Believe it or not, with all these hard surfaces, it actually works. And 2 months ago, we were named the top wedding venue in the Twin Cities. In fact, our events have become so successful that other paper on the other side of the river, the Star Tribune, suggested we rename ourselves the James J. Hill Party Center, which we are not going to adopt, of course. It's just the spirit we hope to capture here. In closing, Let me again express our deep appreciation for the support we have received from you, Mayor Coleman, your staff, and many of you in this building here today. We are privileged and honored to be a part of the history and the reinventive future of this wonderful city. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you very much, Greg. It elevates all of our remarks today to be in a space like this. We can't just sort of wing it because it feels a little bit like there's a tradition to keep up in this space. So we appreciate your hospitality. And you know, every year I get asked to MC this event, and it is always really an honor. And you know, I don't know that I've ever taken the time, Mayor, to say thank you, because I do feel like it's an honor. And it's always my pleasure to introduce the mayor, although I think it makes him a little nervous, which is why I do it as well. So, no. Remember, I'm keeping track of the space we're in. This year, there's a copy of the midterm report that's on all of your chairs, and we encourage you to take a look at it after the speech to see all the great work that we've accomplished in the last 2 years. It truly is remarkable. And at the end of the speech, we ask that you please stop by some of the displays, which are talking about current St. Paul projects that are happening throughout the city. They are some of the reasons why we are more hopeful today than we have been in years past. Our economy is in recovery. More and more jobs are coming to the city of St. Paul. Our men and women, mothers and fathers, are getting back to work. We have a light rail line that's nearing the halfway point of completion. Test scores across the school district are on the rise, and a vast majority of us still like each other, although depending upon the day, but today it's all good. This is not to imply that there aren't challenges. There are. But whatever our differences, we have all moved forward with the interests of St. Paul front and center. We are a city that works best when we work together. And I can say that the mayor has been a true partner to myself and to members of the city council through the highs and the lows. So, without any further ado, Mayor Chris Coleman.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Kathy, just remember that George Latimer learned long ago, never to insult me when I get the second word. So I appreciate the fact that you also know that lesson. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for introducing me. It's been my pleasure to have you introduce me all these years. And Greg, and to everyone at the Hill Library, thank you so much. If you weren't here on Friday night, you really should take an opportunity to come out to one of these concerts, one of these shows. We had a great group called The Pines. Molly Mayer and her group were playing. And the acoustics in this building are truly tremendous. They are absolutely wonderful. There were about 200 plus people down here on Friday night. And I think that as I tweeted, and yes, you heard that right, I tweeted, I said, you should come down last Friday night because years from now, you're going to want to say, I was there. And that's what's going to happen as this concert series continues to grow. I also want to welcome two of our newest council members who have, for the first time, joined us for a State of the City address, but have quickly, in just a few short months, established themselves as great leaders for the City of St. Paul. From Ward 5, Amy Brenmoen, and from Ward 3, Chris Tobert. Thank you. I'm so glad to see you here. It was in 1856 that an 18-year-old James Hill emerged from the plains of Canada and headed for St. Paul. His father died when he was only 14 years old, and at that time his formal education ceased. He went to work to help provide for his family, but he never stopped his quest for learning. In fact, he was a lifelong learner, immersing himself in books and learning the ins and outs of the transportation industry. He went on to become one of the nation's richest men. He built an empire that stretched from Chicago to the Pacific and beyond. While the mansion he constructed on Summit Avenue still stands as a testament to his wealth, other parts of our city reflect the commitment to the community that allowed him to prosper. Today we gather in such a place. Hill's success depended in large part on reading as many books as he could get his hands on. He wanted everyone in St. Paul to have that same opportunity. The construction of this library is a reflection of the many years of hard work and collaboration that he went through. The mission of this library in the early 1900s was to educate and inform. And though the mission has not changed, the method has, offering education not just through books, but classes, seminars, and online learning. But Hill's story is more than just an interesting bit of history. It's a reminder today of the importance of perseverance. Hill didn't just decide to go into business and everything after was easy. He fought hard, battling through recession and fierce competition in order to succeed. One of St. Paul's most famous citizens is a constant reminder that his adopted city must also face difficult situations with determination, hard work, perseverance, and a determination to finally realize its full potential. And that's exactly what we've done in the city of St. Paul. The challenges have been many. Years of the worst economy since the 1930s. Fights to ensure that the Central Corridor serves the most transit-dependent members of our community. Efforts to make sure that the businesses along that corridor are able to stay open during the construction period. A collapse of the housing market and record numbers of foreclosures. The loss of our signature manufacturer, the Ford Motor Company. Continued erosion of local government aid, and a persistent achievement gap that threatens the future of far too many children in our community. It's a list that could send any city into a spiral. But just as Hill would neither be deterred nor defeated, St. Paul has strengthened its resolve, and we have met our challenges head on. We joined forces across the community and began work that will not only strengthen our city, but transform it for future generations. That's why the state of St. Paul is strong and getting stronger. It's why I'm proud to stand here as mayor. Look out across this magnificent space to so many community members and partners that make our work possible, and with full confidence that St. Paul is on the right track. It's on the right track. That's a good thing. If I'm going to have to prompt you for applause for the rest of this speech, we're going to be here all afternoon. You know, every morning as I walk into City Hall, I see the following words on the walls of the building just outside the doors. Abundance, agriculture, law and order, education, transportation, industry, and commerce. Though enshrined in the building during the Great Depression, these words could easily be a mission statement for today. Each of them guides our work in 2012, just as they did over 80 years ago. For instance, there is nothing more central to our mission as a city than public safety. Our commitment has never wavered, even though the budget challenges have tested our ability to support the men and women who work so hard to keep St. Paul safe. In the last several years, we've increased the numbers of officers in the street and firefighters in the stations. We've also made sure that the third leg of public safety, the city attorney's office, is adequately staffed to prosecute cases, reach out to the community, and give true meaning to community-based prevention strategies that they are so innovative on. You know, both Chief Butler and Chief Smith do a great job of recognizing civilians and their own men and women who demonstrate extraordinary valor or persistence. But I want to call attention to one recognition from just a couple of weeks ago. Chief Smith recognized several members of the law enforcement community for their tireless pursuit of the killers of 3 people in the North End in 2007, including 15-year-old Brittany Kakadakis. The officers pursued every lead, many of them resulting in dead ends. Nothing deterred them. Like the city they served, they would not give up. Their persistence led to the arrest and conviction of those who committed those murders. I want to join in the praise of those the Chief honored. Jane Mead, Shay Shackle, retired Sergeant Tom Donaski, retired Sergeant Jane Lawrence, Officer Rob Merrill, FBI Agent Matthew Parker, U.S. Assistant Attorney Jeff Paulson, and Chris Wilton. I also particularly want to thank one of those, Tom Bergeron. Tom Bergeron, after 32 years in the city of St. Paul, retired just last Friday. but he retired knowing that this case that meant so much to him had been solved and the killers were in prison. Let's give them all a round of applause. Perseverance truly does pay off. Just as it did in the 1920s and 30s, transportation plays a central part in our work today. Obviously, the Central Corridor dominates the conversation, as it should. Today, the corridor is 40% complete, and by the end of 2012, the most disruptive part of the construction will be finished. From its first stop at the Union Depot, it will roll past Regents Hospital, the state capitol, along University Avenue, through the University of Minnesota, and into downtown. And in a few years, when the Southwest Corridor is complete, all the way to Eden Prairie. After 30 years of discussion, we can now talk about months until completion. We can talk about opportunities to be seized, and finally connect our residents to jobs, schools, and services. But there's more than just the Central Corridor. The renovation of the Union Depot will also be complete in just 2 years. It'll be one of the best examples of a multimodal transportation strategy in our region. It'll serve light rail, buses, Amtrak trains, and bicycles. We've had a lot of partners in this effort. Congresswoman Betty McCollum, County Commissioner Jim McDonough, and all of his colleagues on the county board, and so many others in this community that understand the importance of transportation. They've led the fight for the Union Depot, the Central Corridor, and the Gateway Corridor. And I want to thank all of them for being tireless advocates for transportation in the East Metro. We're also moving forward on a study of streetcars in St. Paul. Streetcars can strengthen the way neighborhood commercial corridors connect to regional transportation networks. There are so many partners that have played a key role in getting this study underway, but I do think it has an opportunity to continue the transformation of transportation in our community. I want to thank, first of all, Councilmember Russ Stark for his leadership. I want to thank the Central Corridor's Funder Collaborative, the McKnight Foundation, and the St. Paul Foundation for their work to move forward on a streetcar plan for the city of St. Paul. You know, it's not too surprising that in the midst of the Great Depression, the leadership of St. Paul was focused on industry and commerce. Coming out of one of the worst recessions since then, we're equally focused on helping our businesses and our business community grow. Many of our efforts are regional in scope, whether helping entrepreneurs accelerate their growth from garage to market, or helping our companies enter foreign markets through our export initiative. We have joined forces across the region and with the state of Minnesota to help the region grow, and it's paying off in many ways. Just last week, a survey named the Twin Cities as the best place in the entire country to find a job. Getting it? Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Bren Moen. Appreciate that. But there was an article in the Orange County Registry that said we were an unlikely upper Midwest city to take the top spot. Well, I guess if you're the Orange County Register, you might seem that it's unlikely that we would be in the top spot. But those of us that don't suffer from coastal centrism, we don't find it so surprising. In fact, the only surprise is why it took them so long to notice what a great place we are to find a job and do work. But to address this lack of knowledge, our region came together in a public-private partnership and launched Greater MSP. In a few short years, it's already kind of changing the reputation or helping reestablish the reputation of the city of St. Paul and this entire region. We were off the list of site selectors and corporate CEOs, but we have gotten back on that list as a great place to come and do business. I want to thank Michael Langley and the entire staff of Greater MSP for putting us back on the map as a great place to be and a great place to do business. While much of our work is focused on larger employees, we can't forget that small businesses are the backbone of our economy. Research shows that small businesses represent 99.7% of all firms in the United States, and they create 60 to 80% of the net new jobs. Small business owners face many obstacles, securing funding, marketing their products. They wear multiple hats, from CEO to CFO to COO to cashier and to janitor. City government must not be just another obstacle to their success. That's why we went to bat to assist Kevin Vandera, the owner of Cupcake. I respect the hard work of balancing city interests, balancing requirements like parking. I understand it's difficult. But we as a city have to be better at getting to yes than we are to getting to no. I urge the City Council to take up the resolution laid over last week, this Wednesday, and let Kevin move forward with his Grand Avenue store. I want to thank Kevin for his persistence, but I also want to thank a member of my staff, Erin Dady, who has worked diligently to move forward on this project. She embodies the determined spirit of J.J. Hill. While the walls of City Hall don't have the words vibrancy or entertainment inscribed on them, it's clear that they play a critical part in decisions that business leaders make to locate their companies. People want vibrant places to work. Business owners know that vibrancy helps them attract top talent. That's why supporting such events as Jazz Fest and Concrete and Grass, or the Live Nation concert on Harriet Island this summer are such an important part of our work. It's why we said yes to a crazy idea to have hockey players hurl themselves down a luge track from the front steps of the cathedral. It's also why we have not stopped in our pursuit of the Penfield project. We are perhaps only months away from breaking ground on that project. Thanks in large part, now I'll train you, I'll give you a nod when I want you to applaud. Thanks in large part to the determined efforts of not only our City Council member, Dave Thune, but our PED Director, Cecile Bedore. Let's thank them for their persistence and their hard work. When completed, the Penfield project will not only bring 260 units of market-rate housing along the Central Corridor, it will also bring a first-rate grocery store to the center of our town. It will join the Lofts at Farmers Market as the newest housing in downtown. That project, completed only a few weeks ago, is already 72% leased, far exceeding projections. Vibrancy and its relationship to business is why we also are supporting the 1,100-seat addition to the Ordway's McKnight Theater. It's why we continue to invest in Como Zoo, which maintains its status as one of the largest tourist destinations in our region. And it's why we have to build the regional ballpark in Lowertown. We're closer than ever to seeing that project into reality. Governor Dayton has showed his strong support for the project by including full funding at $27 million in his bonding proposal. Great champions like Larry Howells and Alice Hausman continue to push it forward. I understand Alice is here today. Alice, thank you for your efforts. I also want to thank Matt Kramer and the Chamber of Commerce for taking the lead on this project. We're so close. We're so close, but we must redouble our efforts over these next few weeks to get this project funded. I want everyone to call the leadership of the House and the Senate. Tell them that businesses need this project. Tell them that families need this project. Tell them that St. Paul needs this project to be completed. When we get the bonding, notice I didn't say if, when we get the bonding for this project, we'll begin construction this spring. As of this morning, I am proud to announce that we have reached an agreement between the Port Authority and the owners of Diamond Products to buy that land. We'll own the land, now let's build the ballpark. Another word on the side of the building is agriculture. Agriculture may have been more at the heart of the work of the City of St. Paul 80 years ago, but even today it plays a key role in our city. Community gardens are sprouting up across the city, allowing families to grow their own fresh vegetables. Many are working hard to build a network of sustainably grown local foods. Restaurateurs such as Lenny Russo are increasingly turning to food sources within a short drive of his restaurant, Heartland. And in Frogtown, a group of community members are dreaming of transforming a part of the old Wilder campus into Frogtown Farms. The proposal for Frogtown Farms includes a recreation area, a nature preserve, and space for a neighborhood farm, where residents can come and learn about sustainable agriculture, the importance of locally grown food, and how to create a similar garden in their very own backyards. This is a tremendous opportunity to provide healthy foods in a sustainable way in a neighborhood desperate for green space. I want to thank the Wilder Foundation and Trust for Public Land for their partnership, and I also want to thank Councilmember Melvin Carter for his leadership. There is much left to be done on this project. We have a lot of heavy lifting, but we are hopeful of what lies ahead and what it will bring to the Frogtown neighborhood and to our city. All of our work together is important. All the words on City Hall guide us. But there is no word more important to me or to the future of our city than education. I've had a chance to be principal of the day twice this last year, once at Central High School and once at Maxfield. I truly enjoyed the opportunity to see the incredible work being done by our building leaders and our teachers. I especially love talking to the kids, and particularly the grade schoolers, because they ask really great questions, like, am I rich? Sadly, no. Do I know President Obama? A little bit. Do I have a dog? Yes. And do I have a big house? No. But while I'm inspired by seeing our schools up close, I also know the tremendous challenges we face. We've made progress, but we have a long road yet to travel. We heard the great news last fall that St. Paul students' Minnesota comprehensive assessment scores increased by 4 points. Early evidence that the district's Strong Schools, Strong Communities plan is working. And St. Paul's Latino students had the highest math scores among their peers in the entire state. Our schools are heading in the right direction with gains in the number of students on track to being proficient in math and reading, especially in the elementary grades. 6 years ago, I arrived in office determined to make education a priority. I dedicated 30% of my staff to education-related issues. We formed unprecedented partnerships with schools, our teachers, our principals, our school board, and now our great superintendent, Valeria Silva. Many question why the city was taking on such an active role in education. Now no one believes that the challenges we face can be met without everyone in the community, including the city, playing a key role. What started off as an idea to extend the learning day for students, first dubbed the Second Shift Initiative, has now evolved into a comprehensive network of out-of-school time options called Sprockets. The overall goal of this program is to connect youth with their interests and create a seamless learning day all year long. Research-based programs have proven that high-quality after-school and summer learning experiences help kids succeed. Sprockets is grounded in data about how children learn and provides us an easy way for parents and kids to find programs near them. It tracks students' progress so that we can determine what is working and what isn't. And then we build on that information. After just 1 year in action, Sprockets database has already tracked more than 3,500 students' progress with the help of 11 organizations. There are 19 sites enrolled in training programs to improve their quality. And in the next year, those numbers will double, with an additional site at Payne, Maryland, a project that has been championed by Councilmember Dan Bostrom, will join the ranks of our out-of-school time providers. We'll continue to grow Sprockets until every child in the city of St. Paul has the opportunity to attend a quality out-of-school time program that will help them achieve their full potential. We've also made great progress on the Promised Neighborhood Initiative. In 2010, St. Paul obtained a $500,000 grant from the U.S. Department of Education to develop a Promised Neighborhood Plan that includes 250 blocks in the Summit University and Frogtown neighborhoods. The planning initiative was led by Wilder Foundation and Ramsey County, the school district, and the City of St. Paul. But it also included extensive participation by community members and community-based organizations. Local philanthropic partners matched the federal funds. Over the course of a year, we developed a rigorous, evidence-based plan to improve academic life and outcomes for children in those neighborhoods. And while we were not selected as one of the 5 cities to receive the first round of implementation dollars, St. Paul's Promised Neighborhood is well positioned to be selected in the next round of funding, possibly as early as this next fall. If you applaud, it gives me a chance to get a drink of water. Thank you very much. You just don't copy Councilmember Branmo in there, Stark. You know, there are many great initiatives underway to help close the achievement gap, but there's one in particular that I find has tremendous potential to change outcomes for our children: the Parent Academy in St. Paul Public Schools. Research is clear that when parents are involved in their children's learning, children have higher grades, test scores, and graduation rates. They have better school attendance, increased motivation, and better self-esteem. They have lower rates of suspension, decreased use of drugs and alcohol, and fewer instances of violent behavior. Parental involvement, such as reading to your children and communicating parental expectations with them, is twice as predictive as a student's academic success as a socioeconomic status. The school district currently enrolls 750 parents each year in parent academies. It intends to triple that number in coming years. The academies provide classes for parents who want the knowledge and skills to help their children be successful in the classroom and at home. These 6-week academies, presented in parents' native language, focus on topics such as brain development, positive discipline, the role of health, nutrition, and active learning, the home environment, and motivation, and how the school system functions. Parents also visit a college campus during their time in the academy. To give you a sense of the impact of the academies, I want to show just a short video.
I think Parent Academy is important because it opens doors for a lot of parents like myself.
I want to attend Parent Academy because I want to find different strategies to help my children be successful in school.
Taking the Parent Academy in their own native language will prepare them.
My long-term hopes or dreams for my children is that I want all of them to be able to go to college and at least have a 4-year degree.
Of course, I would like for them to all go to college and be something very successful.
It's not only to get to college and get a gainful employment, but try to come back and help the schools and teach and volunteer.
If they take the first step of coming to the school, then they can take the second step to find out more information, the third step to implement that information that they learned.
I think Parent Academy is important because it opens doors for a lot of parents like myself who thought they knew everything, but obviously I didn't. And it just, I don't know, it opened my eyes to a completely different world.
I liked it so much the first year that I definitely did it a second time this year. So, you know, each person is going to teach it differently, but it makes you more focused and wanting to ask more questions, and plus it's fun.
Many of them don't know what to ask and how to ask. And if they don't know how to do it in English, then there's staff available for them to use. And they realize that it's not that hard after all.
I learned from Parent Academy what kind of tasks or assessment that your children need to take, what kind of curriculum class your children need to take, and how to find out different resources to support your children.
First, you have to prepare academic-wise, you have a good GPA, She'll pass all the tests. Good SAT score will get you to a better college. And then as a parent, I should be planning and helping out how to fill out financial aids and all that.
The most important thing that I learned was my son's role as a student and what's expected of him. My hope is that he becomes confident in learning and associate learning with positive things.
I would definitely tell them to join. Definitely get your kids involved. My kids love to see me, walk across the stage with a cap and gown. And just to see Mom, I think, made them realize, wow, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. So I would definitely tell the parents just to get involved.
When parents show up for graduation, they cry because they realize they have accomplished something that they can keep in their minds and in their hearts and pass it along to other parents and to their children.
Our children are our future.
Ilmahay na wa mustaqbalkeena.
Our children are definitely our future.
Nuestros hijos son nuestro futuro.
We are the future.
The work of the academies is powerful. But just as children's education is not solely the responsibility of the school district, nor is support for parents. In the coming months, the city will expand the work of the academies and launch community-based efforts to help our parents become advocates for their children. I'm recommending that we spend $300,000 of city money that will train librarians to help parents use the parent portal, especially those who, because of the digital divide, don't have a computer and aren't able to regularly track their children's progress. We'll provide funds to increase the number of parents attending the Parent Academy, and will provide incentives to motivate parents to complete the Academy. This will include stipends so kids can attend high-quality summer and after-school programs they might not otherwise be able to attend. We'll work with the St. Paul Public Schools to promote Think College Early Fair. This is a great idea that was started in 2005 as a project of Progressive Baptist Church, Reverend Earl Miller and Joanne Clark. It's grown to serve all St. Paul Public School students. Parents' high expectations that their children receive a post-secondary education are essential, and we need to make sure that as a city, we're supporting activities that help parents and youth navigate their way through higher education. Another thing that Reverend Miller and Joanne Clark have done is that each fall, they load up busloads of kids and take them on tours of colleges, particularly historic black colleges. I've had several opportunities to participate in the send-off, but my favorite part is when the younger brothers and sisters sit anxiously, anticipating their opportunity to one day take that same trip into the future. It's this kind of creative thinking. It's this kind of partnership. It's the work of folks like Joanne Clark and Reverend Miller that make a difference for our children, and I want to applaud them and others for their efforts. While much of our efforts are directed towards after-school programs, new research suggests that the most significant contributor to the achievement gap is summer learning loss. While students across all income and race categories make similar progress during the school year, children from low-income families experience greater learning loss during the summer months than middle and high-income kids. Low-income students start the school year already behind their peers due to a lack of summer learning activities. They're less likely to travel, access technology, take a field trip, go to a camp, or participate in other forms of summer learning. Together with the St. Paul Public Schools, Ramsey County, and the St. Paul Federation of Teachers, we're beginning a campaign to focus on powerful changes that kids and parents can make together to keep their brains and bodies active and learning all summer. They include promoting 5 days a week of active play, 4 new places to visit during the summer, 3 fruits and vegetables daily, 2 summer projects, and 1 hour a day with a good book. We'll promote these changes in the media, in flyers sent home in backpacks, and on our citywide website and on the Sprockets website. We'll also have suggestions for free field trips and learning activities for kids and parents tied to these elements of health and learning. To put the learning loss challenge to the test with funding from the St. Paul Children's Collaborative and working hand in hand with the St. Paul Public Schools, we're piloting a new summer learning program modeled in our Promised Neighborhood that combines academies and enrichment, free of charge for 6 weeks, 6 hours a day. As we're also seeking help from Metro Transit to get organizations serving low-income kids the ability to have those children participate in their programs with free field trips. It's an essential part of enriching and summer learning for all of our children. If the research connecting summer learning loss to the achievement gap is correct, then we in St. Paul are poised to make a giant leap forward in finally closing the gap. Let's move forward and let's once and for all close the achievement gap in our community. The last word on the walls of City Hall is abundance. Many measure abundance in material ways. I measure abundance in the hopes and dreams of our children. I'm constantly amazed at the resiliency of our children. We often hear the stories of those who fail, the sad stories of the children who dropped out, got involved in a gang, or otherwise head in the wrong direction. But almost every year since I've been mayor, I've had the honor of attending the Beat the Odds dinner hosted by the Children's Defense Fund. CDF gives out 4 scholarships each year worth $4,000 each for students to attend the college of their choice. They're awarded to those students who have overcome obstacles that would stop most of us from getting out of bed in the morning. 2 weeks ago, I had the honor of meeting 3 such students from St. Paul Public Schools, 2 from Como Park and 1 from Highland. We're honored to have 2 of them here today with us. The third, Raymond Perez, couldn't join us. But I want to tell you about the 2 that are with us. Annie, can you stand up? Annie Sinner is a senior at Como. Her father was in prison for abusing her sister. Her mother was unable to work or provide for her children. Her sister, who had been abused, became suicidal. Her cousin, who she was very close to, was murdered. But Annie was undefeated. She found support in her teachers and in her school. She's earned a 3.95 GPA and scored a 33 on the ACT. Just the other day, she received notice that she's been accepted at Carleton College. Congratulations. Another remarkable young lady is Lachey Thompson, who was born just outside of New York City. Her mother, unfortunately, was addicted to crack. When her mother was unable to pay for her drugs, the dealer started abusing Lachey as payment. She was 7. After she was removed from her mother's home, she was placed in the home of a wonderfully caring foster father who nurtured Lachey. She was thriving, but one day her foster father was killed in a car accident. In the meantime, her mother had moved to Minnesota to receive treatment for her addiction. Her mother was turning her life around and providing a stable environment for Lachey when she was diagnosed with cancer and died shortly thereafter. Lachey didn't give up. Instead, she found a mentor through Genesis Works. Today, she's an intern at Cargill, plans to attend Clark College in Atlanta, and is one of the most dynamic speakers I have ever heard. You should have heard her at that event the other night. I have to get my work done as mayor because I know in just a few short years, one of these ladies is going to be standing up here giving this speech instead. Neither Annie or Lachey gave up. And we celebrate those amazing stories of survival. But as a community, we have to change the odds for our children, not simply applaud the few that overcome them. For every Annie or Lachey, there are far too many kids who never rise above the challenges they face. If we are to close the gap, if we are to help all of our children succeed, it will take all of us working together to remove the barricades for our children. Every one of them has a potential to be an Annie or a Lachey. Let's help them realize that potential. A century and a half ago, James Hill beat the odds and found a community that would support his wildest ambitions. The future leaders of our community lie within. Let us nurture them. Let us support them. In turn, they will give back to this community in ways that we can't even imagine. The state of the city is strong, but the future of St. Paul will shine even brighter when we allow all of our children to thrive, to survive, and to shine their light upon us. Thank you very much.